All right, so new year, new video. Let's get these things going in 3, 2, 1. What's up, advocates, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. That's right. Now we are officially about a year or so into this thing, and we are moving and shaking. And I want to get back to just some of the roots, right? I want to get back to actually educating you guys on some of the different things that go on in the insurance claim game. Some of the different things that you should be aware of when you're filing your claims, when you're following up on your claims, when you're developing a process into making sure you're doing it correctly. But before I get into that, remember to follow us on social media. We're very prevalent on Facebook. Hold on, this thing keeps happening. We're very prevalent on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. So go check us out there. A lot of content. Also go on to www.commercialclaimsadvocate.com. You can see all of these YouTube videos, all of our blogs, all of our webinars, all of our podcasts, and so on and so forth. Speaking of which, we've got some exciting news. We are going to upload all of these videos. All these videos that we've done since the beginning, we're going to be uploading them into our podcast format. So you're going to be able to listen to them. So top 10 mistakes and top 10 things you must know and all those top 10 stuff that we've done earlier, we're going to put those all into a podcast format. And where's the podcast? It is on Spotify, it is on iTunes, and it is on Google Play, or it's called something else now, but it's Google. It's the Google one. Google Podcast, I think it's actually called. So check out all our podcasts there. We've got some really good interviews coming up. So that's going to be exciting. So the podcast and the Claims Game show, the Claims Game podcast, that'll just sort of keep going. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff for you. So that being said, let's get right into what I want to talk about today. Okay, so let's talk about processes. Okay, you need to make sure that you've got a solid foundation. Whatever process you have for filing your claim, following up on your claim, and settling your claim, whatever process you might have, just make sure that there's actually a process in place. Okay, that you're not just throwing a bunch of crap against the wall and just hoping that the claim settles and hoping that you eventually get paid. You know, you want to have obviously a sort of a good software that you're using to keep track of all of that stuff. But most important, besides the software, I get questions about softwares all the time. Forget about the software. I got away with an Excel spreadsheet and just looking up every single week on a specific day when to follow up with my claims. That's a process in it. That's a process in itself. So just make sure you've got a solidified process that you feel comfortable with, that you are okay with the follow-up process, so that you could get your claim from A to Z and get your client paid and yourself paid much faster. So we could start with softwares real quick. So me personally, I don't have a fancy software. Okay, that's not to say I'm not going to have it in the future, because I do have some plans for growth, and I'm probably going to be leaning towards the software I'm going to mention. But for now, for me personally, what I use is Trello. Trello is not a public adjusting software. Trello is not a claims management software. It is strictly a task management software. But we have set it up in a way where we keep track of everything. The good part is notes. I like that we can keep track of claim notes. So as soon as a claim happens, as soon as something occurs, what I will do is I'll send a voice note to my assistant so that my assistant can put it into the Trello notes. If you don't have an assistant, that's okay. They've got an application. So as soon as you go to a claim and you have a specific conversation with the adjuster, if something stands out in that conversation, you need to go into your Trello, boom, 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 or write it in your notes, or leave yourself a voice note so that you can go later and you can type it up on your computer. But what I love about Trello is that you can leave notes, and also you can leave all kinds of calendar reminders. So one of the things that we do here is we basically, we've got a 7-day clock every time we follow up. But then we also have the 14-day clock if they don't respond. We also have got a 21-day clock if they don't send us the policy after we request it. We've got a 30-day mark once we give them the proof of loss. We've got a 90-day mark from the day that we file the claim. We've got a 45-day mark from when we file mediation, 21-day mark from when we file mediation, 20-day mark from when we file the appraisal. Did you get all that? Rewind. rewind and get all that. You want to write those down if you live in the state of Florida. If you don't live in the state of Florida, you need to look up the Unfair Claims Practices Act and the Homeowner Bill of Rights, and you need to find out what those limits are. There's nothing more important as a public adjuster than putting the insurance claim on the clock. On the clock. Anyway, I'm able to do all that with Trello, so it works fantastic for us. I could tag my assistant if I want her to look at something. I could have other adjusters on there too. Got two of my guys, we've got them on there too. I could tag them on one of their cards. They could tag me on something if they have a question, and I could just answer them right there. It doesn't even have to all be through email. So that's what we use. One of the probably what seems to be becoming the industry standard is Claim Wizard. This is not a sponsor by Claim Wizard. I've not spoken to anybody at Claim Wizard, but what I am noticing just through Facebook and just different people talking, it seems to me like Claim Wizard is starting to become the industry standard. From what I'm not mistaken, it was created by public adjusters for public adjusters. So if you're looking for a software that you really want, if you're really expanding, I think Claim Wizard is the way to go. I've also spoken to some people that I respect that run their own PA firms, and that's what they use. So I'm going to assume, this is just an assumption, you know what assume means, that Claim Wizard might be the way to go. Asana is another task management software that I know other people use. I know some guys in real estate that use Asana, that they really like it. And then just in a quick Google search, I found two other ones. One's called Pac-Man Software and one's called Cat Tracker. So, you know, whatever suits you. I know also, and I don't have all the names in front of me, so I apologize. There's a lot of like contractor ones that people have used that they seem to like. So whatever suits you. Like I said, you don't even have to have a task management software or any software at all. I used to just have a set 2 days, either Tuesday or Thursday, depending on the day that I was available to be in the office, and I would go through every single one of my claims just on my folder, and I'd search in the email, where was the last time we had an email, and I would follow up. Again, it's a process. At least it's a process that I have. I knew every Tuesday or Thursday I had to follow up my claims, and that was it. You know, not the best process, but it is a process. So that's what we do. So in regards to the process, you got to make sure that you've got everything filled out. So what I like to, we have standard operating procedures. So if you look up SOPs or standard operating procedures, we have a way of sort of doing everything. So there is a way from the adjuster. The adjuster gets a phone call from the client, or the adjuster gets a phone call from the general contractor roofer, right? After that, the phone call is made to the client. After that, there are facts of loss that are taken over the phone. There's an explanation as to what the public adjuster does, just so they're aware before the public adjuster goes to the home that there will be a fee and there will be an agreement that is signed, and then you schedule a date for the inspection. Then you arrive at the inspection. At the inspection, there are a certain list of questions that you're going to ask. You're going to get the facts of loss. You're going to write everything down. You're possibly going to give the insured a statement just to make sure you've got everything right. You're going to take photos. There's a specific way of taking photos. After you take your photos, you're going to get your agreement signed. If you are a public adjuster that is doing your own estimates or putting scopes together, you will be doing the scope and putting the estimate together there. After that, then we upload everything. The adjuster has to do this, uploads everything into Google Drive. So in Google Drive, the adjuster creates the folder, creates the photos folder, and uploads everything to the drive. Then creates the Trello card, just with the name and a description of the loss, so that our assistant Tammy could have the facts of loss that she needs. She needs the facts of loss. She needs to know the house is livable or not livable. She needs to. What was I going to say? She needs to have the date of loss, the policy number, and the insurance company number. That's all. With all that information, she could pretty much call it in from there. And that's what the adjuster does, so that's our process for that. Tammy has to put all the information into Trello, organize the file, and then send the LOR to the insurance company, and then we do the initial inspection, and so on and so forth. My point is we have an actual standard operating procedures two ways. We have it all on a Word document, and we also have it in a video. Sort of explaining how you go through the whole process. So like, for example, Tammy, our assistant, she's got a whole video of how and when she opens Trello, how she looks and follows up with everything, and so on and so forth. The other thing is I like to have all of our letters already in its own like letters documents folder. So we have an initial contact letter, we have a 7-day follow-up letter, we have a 14-day no response letter, we have our POL letter, we have our 30-day POL response letter, our appraisal letter, we've got, you know, our mediation request. We've got all kinds of letters that Really all it is just over my 13 years experience that I've typed up, and then we just save them. Just makes my life easier. So, you know, our templates are pretty cool. We provide them in the course. But the fact of the matter is they're just letters that I've written that we've just saved away so that we don't have to write the entire letter again. So that's, again, another process that we have. My point is that it's just important to have a process. So save your letters, save all those, especially if you write a nice long letter about a specific thing, you know, save it. Save all your time limits to make sure that that you and any other adjusters that you get under you or anybody else in your company is all sort of following sort of the same trend, and making sure that these claims are getting settled. Another thing that I think is important is having an Excel spreadsheet of your settlement amounts. So you settle the claim. I like to have the Excel spreadsheet sort of spread out like this, where we've got the name of the client, and then we've got the initial payment, we've got the second payment, we've got the settlement total, but then we also have our estimate. So the estimate that we put together for the client. Why? Because eventually at the end of the year, I want to compare not just obviously total amounts that we've been paid, but I want to compare what we were settling at compared to our own estimate. You know, are we settling at 90%, 95%, 80%, 75, 50? You know, we want to make sure that we're settling for as much as possible. You know, our estimates, we have an actual professional estimator that goes out to do our estimates. So there's no reason why we should be settling for far less than that estimate. So if I notice a trend between myself or my guys and girls that the settlements are just too low, well, that's something we need to discuss and we need to talk about because we're leaving money on the table. So that's just an Excel spreadsheet. That's pretty cool. It just compares it at the end. And when you're closing claims, right? So obviously one of our processes is we're trying to get $1, right? We want to get coverage. Once coverage is extended, then we've got a couple routes. We could request a supplement, we could file an appraisal, or we can go to mediation, right? And usually we go supplement route first. If we can't get what we want, usually we'll file an appraisal. If we can't get what we want, or if they reject our appraisal, they don't want to do it, then we'll go to mediation. So that's sort of our processes. But you want to have obviously a alternative dispute resolution process in place so that everybody is, again, on the same page. The more you got all of this, and this is for you big firm owners, the more you've got this process set up, the less questions you're going to have from your adjusters. You know, I get calls all the time from my guys and they're asking me questions. And I realize that if we could just keep tightening up this process and keep tightening up and keep tightening it up, all those questions will be answered already. So when they call me, hey, they're not paying this, this, and that, what should we do next? Well, did you request a supplement? No. Okay, well, that's what you should do. Yes, we requested a supplement. They denied it. Well, have you sent the appraisal request? No. Okay, well, that's what you need to do. This is all in our SOPs, buddy. Let's make sure that you're doing it. So the more and the better you've got so take the time. If you are whether you own a firm or whether you're just a PA, okay, if you notice that in your firm there's not really a lot of processes, create your own. It's only going to help you. It's going to help you stay on point, and that's the most important. And if you decide to go out on your own, you've already got that set up. Okay, you've got it already good to go. Your entire policies and procedures of how your claim and the life of your claim and the way it goes. And even if you don't go out on your own, it's just good to have. And then talk to your guys at the firm that maybe they could, use it. You want to help everybody as much as possible, So once a claim is closed, get a review. That's what we like to do also. As soon as our claim is closed and that last check is deposited in the bank, we're going to contact the client and we're going to ask them how everything was and say, hey, look, we're going to send you an email with a few links that we've got. We've got Facebook and Google that we request. And also, I don't know if we're still doing that, but the Better Business Bureau. Hey, do you mind looking at these links and leaving us a review? We'd really appreciate it. And usually more often than not, we get a nice review for that. And that's it. I mean, I just mentioned just a lot of things here. I guess we went software, we went processes, and we went Excel spreadsheet and reviews. But the fact is just develop a system. Put it in your notes anytime you do something, you notice you're doing it repetitively, put it somewhere so that you could start building a standard operating procedure of exactly the life of your claim and how it goes. It's going to help you tremendously, because if you don't have an assistant now, you may have an assistant later. And if you can give that assistant that's going to help a lot in just making sure everything's going the way it goes. So that's what this video is about. The importance of processes, having a process in place. Do not forget, have a process in place. It's very important if you want to be a successful and efficient and rich public adjuster. All right, so that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We are growing. We got a lot of things coming. Get ready, 2021. It's gonna be off the chain. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And get on Commercial Claims Advocate and put in your email address. Trust me, you won't be sorry, I promise. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff. We send out stuff on a weekly basis. We got a really cool blog and also the podcast you gotta check out. And there's a million things you gotta look at because all of it's awesome. And I think you're gonna benefit a lot out of it. So go ahead and check it out. And that's it. You guys have a great week, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.